Hey guys, today we're looking at lesson 3 in module 12 about measuring time intervals. Now what that means is you can find elapsed time. Now elapsed is a big fancy math word for something that has passed, like how much time has to be the same thing as talking about elapsed time when you know a start time and an end time. If your favorite show comes on at 4:30 and it's over at 5 o'clock. So if you start at 4:30, ended at 5 o'clock, how much time was that? Well, that's 30 minutes. Or say you went to basketball practice. Basketball practice was at 6 o'clock and it ended at 7:30. So how much time has passed for practice? Well, if you start at 6, 7 would be an hour, and from 7 to 7:30 would be another 30 minutes. So your basketball practice would be an hour and 30 minutes. So that's what you're looking at today. You have a start time, how much time has passed, how much time has elapsed. So Jan and her science club take a train from town at 12 p.m. and they arrive at 30. They look at the projects, then they take the train back for 30 minutes and arrive in town at 3:30. How long was Jan's club at the science fair? So, show one way to find the amount of time that the club was at the fair. One way we could do is we can pull out our number line, like we looked at for whenever we're talking about AM and PM. And so if we have a number line, and we're going to start this number line at 12 p.m. because that's what time, let's see, they take a at 12 p.m. and arrive at the science fair at 12:30. So here is 12 p.m. Now this is going to go all the way down to, and we're ending at 3:30. Because that's what time they had get back into town. So 3:30 p.m. All right, start time 12 p.m. We've got an end time at 3:30 for our number line. Now they arrive at the science fair 30 minutes before we start. So 12:30, of course, 12:30 is going to be pretty close to 12 o'clock. We don't have to know exactly. But we're going to say it's about right here. So we're going to say that's 12 p.m. and we're going to write fair because that's what time they got there. Okay? That'll help us in a few minutes. Then they leave the fair at 3 o'clock. So right here, like 12 and 12:30 are close together, 3 and 3:30 are going to be pretty close together. So we'll be, and we're going to say leave fair. Oops, got me. I'm going to arrive. I'm going to have to put it in there real tiny. Ooh, that's hard to read. All right, just so that we kind of know, that's A-R-R-I-V-E. There's two R's there, but they kind of got smushed. So, 12:30, and we're going to 3. So, 12:30. Let's go to the next hour just to make it a little easier for counting purposes. So, from here to here, the next 12 will be 1. So let's go with even hours. That'll help us get to 3. So for here to here, that's 30 minutes, right? So this could be 2 o'clock, and then this would be 3 o'clock. So this is 1 hour. This is 1 hour. All right, let's look at that one more time. 12:30 to 1, that's 30 minutes. So if we're at 1 o'clock, it makes it a little bit easier to go by hour on 3 o'clock exactly on the dot. So if we add 30 minutes to this, that's 1 o'clock. Next hour, 2 o'clock. Another hour, 3 o'clock. So here is our time elapsed. We have 2 hours and 30 minutes. Each time has elapsed. 2 hours and 30 minutes. And that's all that we're doing today. Working on those types of problems. Turn the page when you're ready. If you're not ready, pause it and start us back up. And we're going to look at about a chess game here. So the chess is 4:05 p.m. and it ends at 4:38 p.m. How long does it last? So, look, they're wanting us to do some work here. So it's starting at 4:05 p.m. and then it stops at 4:38 p.m. So we've got our notes written. So 4:05 minutes is just right here at the 1, because that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So reach out. Well, hang on. There's a bump on this table, I think. Problem. All right. So that would be your minute hand. And your hour hand is going to be on the 4. Now, it can be just a tad bit much. It's going to be itsy bitsy amount of space after that 4. Because it's only gone 5 minutes, so it's not going to move a ton. I'm going to turn my paper so I can get this looking a little better. Alright, so it's going to look something like that. So that's 4:05. Then 4:38. Well, I know from here all the way, that's 30. I could count 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. But I could count that 100 times. It's still going to be the same. So I can use my benchmark here and know, well, if it's pointing at the 6, that's 30. I'm going to 38. So 30, 35, 36, 37, 38. So that minute hand's going to be reaching out, touching that there. And then 4, now look, 38 is halfway, a little over halfway around that clock. So it's going to be halfway between, that's right, the 4 and my paper to get this to, see if I can draw it a little better. So 4:38 is going to look like that. Okay. Now the question is how much time passed, or how much time has elapsed. So if we're at 4:05 here, we're going all the way around to 4:38, which is 1:36, which is right there. So that means I've got to count all the minutes from here all the way around to there to find out how much time has passed. Here's your end time. So I can count by 5s until I get as close as I can get before I have to start counting by 1s. So from here to here is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 31, 32, 33. 33 minutes have passed. All right, let's look at that one more time if you're having trouble. From here to here is 5, right? So we're starting here. We're not starting at the 12. We're starting here because we started at 4:05. We didn't start at 4 o'clock. So here to here is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Change gears because we're not going to 40. We're going to 38. So that was 30, 31, 32, 31, 32, 33. Okay? So, how do we know where to start counting? Well, let's see. So the start time is 4 of, comma, so we start at the 5-minute mark. So we're starting at the 5-minute mark, which is right there. What numbers can you count by? Well, we did 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Then we changed gears and said, because we're here at 30, 31, 32, 33. So we counted by 5s and 1s. Then it says, how long does a chess game last? We said 30 minutes. So how much time has elapsed? That's right, 33 minutes. And remember, elapsed time is the amount of time that passes from the start of an activity to the end of the activity. Remember, you can hit pause if you need to. Give you another minute or two. Okay, move that out of the way. Now, Pete arrives at the book club meeting at 10:12 a.m. He leaves at 10:54 a.m. How many minutes is Pete? Start at 10:12, count on to 10:54. What amounts of time can you count on by? Okay, so do that. Let's go ahead and jump down here and do the number line because that'll help us. So we're at 10:12. Let's go ahead and put our end time 10:54. And that's AM, making sure. Okay? So now if I'm doing this, I don't want to count by 12s. That's not my favorite thing to count by. So remember, our benchmarks for time are 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and 45, right? Because we look at a clock. We'll even scoot down here and look at this clock. Here's your 15-minute mark. Here's your 30-minute mark, 45. Because you can cut a clock into quarters. So like quarter after is 15 minutes after. Quarter till means it's 15 minutes until the next hour. Halfway. So you know all those terms. So we can use those terms to help us here. So if we're at 12, what am I going to add to that to get to a benchmark of 10? That's right. We're going to add 3 minutes there. So if we're at 10:15, and all right, look right here. If we're at 15, I want to go as much as I can without going over. Now, that doesn't mean you have to. You could still go by whichever. Remember, it's a different way to get to Walmart. But if it's me, I know if I cut this clock in half this way, I can start here and go all the way around to this 45-minute mark, 30 minutes. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, do you have to do it that way? No. But if I'm at 10:15, I want to get to, put it around here, 10, 5. So 10:15 to 10:45, remember, is 30 minutes. 15, all the way around here's 30. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. That's half of the clock. So half of 60 is 30. All right, so we're at 10:45. Well, I could do 5. That would put me at 10:50. Oh, so if I'm at 10:50, how much jump to get to 10:54? That's right, 4 more minutes. Okay, so here is the amount of time that has elapsed that we need to put together. So we went 3 minutes plus 30 minutes plus 5 plus 4. So remember, with the community property, you can rearrange it however you want. The same answer. So is there a way to combine these that might be a little easier? Well, you know that 5 and 4 is 9. 9 is 39. 39, 40, 41, 42. Because if you did 9 plus 30 is 39. 39 plus 8 is right, 42. So we're talking about 42 minutes that has elapsed. Okay? Then it says, what amounts of time can you count on by? Well, we said 3. We said 30. We did 5, 4. And then we can just draw a line here with an arrow to show where we did our information there. How can you find the elapsed time? Well, we said, and I'm going to put 30 first just because I like to put big numbers first. 30 plus 3 plus 5 plus 4, and that equaled 42 minutes. How long was Pete at the meeting? 42 minutes. Okay. Second to finish copying that down. Remember, if the community property says we can put these in any order, they're still going to come up with 42. But I like to put my big number in the front. So that's why I did that. If you're not, pause the video because we're going to look at what you're going to do all by your lonesome here in a second. All right, down at the bottom, you're going to find the elapsed. Math started at 1:15, it ended at 1:57. How much time passed? Art starts at 9:20 a.m. and it ends at 9:58. How much time? Here to look at as your visual model. Here they're wanting you to use a number line. And then you'll put how much time has elapsed on those blanks at the bottom. Then on the other side, going to a science club, it starts at 5:05 p.m. and it ends at 5:52. Show how she finds the elapsed time. Now, they didn't give you a visual model to go by, so that means you can do a number line, or if you want to draw your own clock, you could do that. And then put how much time has lapsed or elapsed. Then here is these two questions are as these two questions. They're just different amounts of time. 9:20 to 9:45, 2:15 to 2:58. And then Ryan and Tia attend team practice. Ryan arrives at 3:05 and leaves at 3:40. Tia arrives at 3:15 and leaves at 3:45. Who practices longer? And explain. So your job is to do those 6 questions. You're going to pause the video in just a second and work on that independently. Then video back up and check your answers. Okay? So Work carefully on that, and then I'll see you back here in just a few minutes when you finish, and we'll check your. See you in a minute or two. Okay, guys, at this point, you should be ready to go over your not. Pause the video and wait until you are and start it back up and check your work. So those of you that are ready, we're going to go ahead and get started going over this. Now, finding the elapsed time on the top, on the number 1 and 2. Let me scoot this up so you can see. All right, so math starts at 1:15 and ends at 1:50. That's 42 minutes. Now, there's different ways you could have figured that out. Now, one way is to take that minute hand here at the 1:15 and 57-minute mark. This is 45, 50, 55, 56, 57 would be right there. So what you could have done is counted on this clock itself. Well, that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 41, 42. And that's your 42 minutes. Okay? You could have done any kind of combination up here. That's just what I chose to do. You don't have to do it that way. As long as you came up with 38 minutes as your answer, what you did was fine. So if you're 20, you end at 9:58. Now, I knew that 9:20 was an easy number, so I just added 20 more minutes and got it 9:40. You could have added by tens. It didn't matter, because when you add them up, you still should come up with 38 at the end. And then I was at 9:40, and I said, well, if I add 15 minutes, that's going to get me at 9:55. And that's close to 9:58, so I need to add 3 more minutes. So I added these 3 numbers together and got 38. So, like I said, you could have added different numbers because you may have done different increments as long as you came up with 38 as your answer. Okay? Then on the back side, give you a second, pause if you need to. Erase yours and change it if you got 38 as your answer. What you did was fine. Now, if you didn't get 38 as your answer, yeah, you probably need to fix that. All right, on the back side, Lisa's Science Club starts at 5:05, ends at 5:52. How much time has elapsed? Now, this is what I chose to do. As long as you came up with minutes as your answer, you could have done yours a little differently, and that's okay. I started at 5:05, and I said, well, you know what? I like to count by tens. Tens are pretty easy. So I added 5 to get me at 5. Then I made a big, huge jump. 40 minutes worth, because I knew if I added 40 to 10, I'm going to be at 5:50. And that means I just have to do this little tiny little hop minutes to it to get me to 5:52. So I added 5, 40, and 2 together to get 47. That doesn't mean you had to do it exactly. As long as you got 47 as your answer, you're good. Then, here's some more start and end times. Here again, if they give you a clock, then I would use it. So if you're at 9:20, 45, that means that's that mark right there at the 9. So you go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So that's 25 minutes. Then we started at 2:15. We're going to finish up at 2:58. So 2:15, well, I know if I add 15 more minutes, I'm going to be at 2:30. Then 30, if I add 20, I'm going to be at 2:50. And then I have to do the small hop of 8. Now remember, you don't have to use those. You could have started at 2:15. You could have gone by until you got to 2:55 and added a few more. As long as you got 43 as your answer, you could have done any kind of combination there. Then at the end, I made a makeshift number line here for Ryan and Tia. So Ryan started at 3:05, he ended at 3:40. So I said, okay, if I do 5, I'm at 3:10. Then if I add 30, I'm at 3:40. So that's 5 and 30. That gives me 35 minutes. Then Tia, well, she's going to 3:45. Remember, we talked about that. That's that amount of time around through there. So that's 30 minutes. So that's easy to figure out. So Ryan practices longer. Ryan there. Okay? All right, guys. You have an ed assignment. Work carefully on that. Use the strategies. If you need to look back in the book when you're doing your ed assignment, do that. And then next time, we're going to look at finding those start and end times. And that would mean this. If it is 3:30 and you practice for 30 minutes, what time did you start? Yeah, 3 o'clock. So you're going to be given how long the elapsed time is when it started, and you have to find the other part of the little problem. Okay? All right. Good job, guys.